Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that has been making music and touring for over 30 years. If this is your first time to hear this podcast, if the name didn't give it away, the Space Between Podcast, well, you are about to hear a fan story from the Dave Matthews Band. Each episode, I have a different fan of the Dave Matthews Band to come on the show to tell us their journey. How did they meet this band? How did they find it? And why in the world are they still listening to it after this long? Some fans have been in from the beginning in 1991. Some of us just don't have time on our side, and so we were young at that point, and so we didn't find them until later. But there are also still kids, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds that are on this show telling their story of how the music of the Dave Matthews Band has just impacted them in so many ways. And so this episode is just like every episode. I have a guest on the show that's going to share her personal story with why in the world is she still digging this band that is 34 years old if we're being technical. So welcome to the show, Jessica. Tell us, where do you live? And tell us something cool about you.
I live outside of Detroit, Michigan. I'm from Indiana. I just moved here last summer. Fun thing about me is music, any music, is a different story to me. Every story. Music is a big part of my life. And I've always been a fan of music. And I also love pop culture. Like anything pop culture, I'm addicted to. So
yeah, do you ever watch... This is what I'm going to default to because it's what I know most about outside of the Dave Matthews Band. The Office. Do you like The Office?
Yes. They just had their 20. I remember watching it 20 years ago. Another show that premiered 20 years ago this month is Grey's Anatomy, and that is one of my all-time favorite shows. My cat is named after a Grey's Anatomy character named Arizona.
Oh.
But yeah. So that's my little, and I've watched that show from the beginning, and I'm going to finish it to see how that show ends.
There's so many fun trivia nights where they do pop.
Oh, I've done Gilmore Girl trivias, Friends trivias, Harry Potter trivias. I've done them all.
Even if you lose, you win.
I've never done a Dave Matthews trivia. That would be awesome.
Michigan. I have never been to the state of Michigan. Oddly enough, there are Michigan commercials all the time, especially during the summer down south where I live. Come up to Michigan. Obviously, it's because it's
pure Michigan.
The water.
Yeah, there's a lot of water here. There is a lot of water here. I moved in with my cousin, my aunt and uncle and her have lived here their whole life, and we used to come up to visit from time to time. But I never really saw it till now that this is a really pretty state. And I'm just in the bottom, they call it the mitten. I'm learning all these technical terms. It's the mitten. So I'm down in the bottom, outside Detroit.
You're learning where on the hand you are.
I don't know. My cousin, I'll ask her where someplace is, and she'll get her hand out and be like, it's right here. And I'm just
helpful.
Let me just get the map out and I'll Google it.
At least you have a fun-shaped state. Arkansas is kind of just like a box with a weird left-hand corner. So first of all, thanks for coming on the show. I'm so excited that you were open to sharing, where in the world you heard this band from. It's really cool that so many people have picked up on this music just in so many different spots, or from big sisters or siblings. A lot of times are what the story is, or, college or whatever. My story is none of that, again, because I'm 45. So time just wasn't, I was 11 in 91. So I didn't find them in the 90s.
I found them in 1994. I was 16, 17. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Where
And
did you
it was
hear about them?
the radio.
Or you just heard like it's a song?
I heard them on the What Would You Say?
Aha.
That was the song that like defined, driving. It was like the perfect driving song. And I got hooked on them, and I went and bought their CDs when people had CDs. And then I think I a copy for a friend on cassette. And then I remember I was big into them my senior year of high school. And for my high school graduation, my parents got me 3 concert tickets. They got me Hootie and the Blowfish. This tells you my age. This was 1996. Hootie and the Blowfish, Alanis Morissette, and Dave Matthews Band.
That was such an awesome gift.
And I went, and it just started from there. And my dad used to joke, like, how many times you see Dave Matthews Band? I go, Dad, do you not understand? They're like the best band ever. Like the best person to see in concert. And I go, oh, by the way, it's your fault because you got me my first concert ticket.
That's right.
I had a car break down on the way to a concert ticket, like in the parking lot. And I just left it there because I'm like, it's more important.
Mm-hmm. This
is when I was, I'm like, I'll deal with it after the concert, which I did. I had a boyfriend, and we traveled like all around, like in '99 when they did like a lot of small tours, him and Tim. We went, like to Kentucky, several places in Indiana. We kind of did a little driving,
Yeah.
It just all started, and I never knew how many I'd been to. I lost count, and my dad goes, that's a bad sign. I go, no, but I keep going. But then we got the hub. And I finally realized how many I've been to, and this past summer marked 52.
Yes, that's amazing.
And people still are like, you still go? I'm like, you don't understand. Every show is different. And then as I got older, I started listening to the actual words more, and I never realized how his music literally has saved my life. And
I want to dig into that. I want to dig into that if you'll allow me to.
Yeah.
But I do want to back up just a little bit because I love asking this question. So everyone says that the Dave Matthews Band is completely different to them when they have seen them live, right?
Yes.
So you go from hearing them on the radio or listening to their CDs or whatever, and then you see them live. How did you love them more?
Yes.
Let's go back to that very first concert. Like, what stuck out to you about that band?
Just the feeling, the vibe around. I've been to many concerts before that. And the people were different. I was 18 years old. I wasn't drinking yet. But it was different. And then seeing them live and, just how they changed. Like, this ain't the way it sounds on the radio because you're so used to hearing every concert you go to. I'm like, oh, yeah, I could hear that on the radio. You don't hear that with Dave. That is he changes it up every time.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love, and I just had to keep going and going. I even got my roommate at the time, and I'm still best friends with this girl. I got her hooked on it. She got me hooked on Tori Amos, but I got her hooked on Dave, and we went to Dave's shows. And she always tells me, thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you for introducing me to him,
Yeah. So, of course, when you start going to show, just like what you said, you notice the people. That's one of the things that everybody says. If you do start to go to their shows, even if it's in the same city, like you start to pick up on like the vibe that is at a Dave Matthews Band concert, but also the people. And a lot of times, especially when you start traveling a little bit more, you will start to notice, I know that guy. He was at the last show. And matter of fact, I think I've seen him at every show. That's weird. Like, what is he doing? Just running around with the band? Tell us about like how you got connected with the people around the Dave Matthews Band, and what made you decide to start traveling to see this band? Because that's kind of a weird thing that people wonder is like, okay, I can understand he does a different concert every time, but like, why in the world are you going to California to see this guy?
Okay, so I think the furthest I went was Virginia in Charlottesville.
Uh-huh.
He was playing, this was like early 2000. I have a brother who was living there at the time, and he actually won tickets to like this small Dave show of like 300 people.
Holy shit.
My dad, he called my dad and he goes, "Do you think she would want to go?" My dad's like, "Are you serious?" You know, yeah. He goes, "Well, let me call," you know, and I went out there. But you go, like, you know, we're like, "Oh, they're going to go here. This is drivable. This is drivable," you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's just like, you just want to see them. Like, I go through, like, you know, a lot of people say withdrawal after the end of the tour.
Uh-huh.
Even though last year I just went to 2, you know, the year before I went to like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's not a lot compared to some people, but you know, you're
it is
driving,
a lot.
like I drove to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I could drive here.
I think
like if you could drive there, like it makes a road trip out of it. Yeah.
Road trips are fun though, right? And
Yes.
I didn't ever think that I would really like road trips. And I'm not a big fan of it, but it is all about who's in the car with you.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it or breaks it, right?
Yes.
I don't necessarily want to be alone, but I don't want a bunch of crappy people in my car either. But if they're all Dave fans and we're jamming out to Dave, we're talking about Dave, that's my group of I'll get in that car and ride 10 hours, you know?
My goal, of course, is to go out to the gorge. You know, it's my, I don't camp though, so I'm not a camper. So it's like, that's the downside. I'm like, everyone's like, but you got to camp. I'm like,
no, you don't.
No,
you don't.
No. I'm like, there's Airbnbs nearby. And
there are Airbnbs and hotels.
Like,
you can't stay on the grounds.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just spiraled, and
you got more passionate. Like, let's make it sound positive, right? You got more passionate.
I remember going to get, like, stand in line at midnight to get before these crowded streets. I remember that at the I lived like in where Purdue University is, so college, you know, like go stand at the college record store. I'm like, I look at the record store,
right?
But yeah, it's just so, his music just takes over me. Like
it does.
It calms me. You know, we'll get to that. You know, calms me down, and like I said, I got my friend Jamie hooked on it. I got a boyfriend hooked on it. You know, he's the one I traveled around. It's contagious, I'm telling you. And that's my goal in life. I want to find a guy who's passionate about Dave Matthews as much as I am, you know.
Or is willing to become that, you know? Like,
or willing to, you're going to listen to this, because either whether you like it or not, you're going to a concert with me. Yeah. You may just sit there, but you're going. But you better go and enjoy yourself, you know. So
that's right. None of this standing here like this. No,
playing
none of that
the whole time.
Dancing.
That's my biggest pet peeve, when people that are playing on their phone. I'm like,
dude, yeah.
We went to one time, and he kept saying, you know, Dave kept saying at the end of it, like, "Thank you very much. Have a good, you know, hope you guys have a good night." He's like, "Is that all that dude says ever?" I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, yeah, but get over it, dude. Do you know
he's
anything?
Here to sing.
But we do want to quit yakking. I'm like, he doesn't yak that much though, like some performers do. So get over it.
He does not, and it's so funny because it's not funny, but what I've kind of witnessed is he is very comfortable, obviously, singing into a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to speaking in a
Like
microphone,
at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
that is different. That's a totally different way to express yourself and communicate. And so I think talking is awkward for him,
Yeah.
or at least it seems that way in his body
It seemed
language.
that way to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It seemed like
Yeah.
he was very, I'm like, oh,
But also,
buddy.
what pressure that was to have so many like masters in front of you. And like he said, like being inducted with the music that he was passionate about. I mean, what pressure? I don't think I would have remembered my name at that moment. So he kind of did he did a great job. But he does sing better than he talks. But I love to listen to him talk because
I
he's
do
so
too.
so genuinely
As I've
funny.
gotten older, I found out he's like more sexy too.
Oh God, yeah. His voice is way deeper now, and I totally
know. Compared to like
compared to
my friends.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that really.
Like in the early '90s, I'm like, what are you wearing?
So
I'm like, why do I not remember this?
Because we all sounded that way too, because we were young.
Yes. Yes.
Now we've all matured. It's he's like a fine wine though. That's what I like to say. He's been in that bottle with the cork tight. He's aged well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking at your face right now. And if you were just listening to this on a podcast, part of watching it on YouTube is sometimes the facial expressions. Because if you can see Jessica's face right now, it's like just this smile on her face that, I see often when we talk about Dave Matthews.
Yeah. It's this, it's funny because my cousin's 10-year-old daughter I live with, she didn't know who Dave Matthews was, and Amy, my cousin, goes, "Oh, yes, you do." She goes, "No, I don't." She goes, he's in one of your favorite movies because of Winn-Dixie." She's like, "That's not him." And like we sat down and watched it not that long ago because it's been so long since I watched it. And she's like, "Oh my God, is that him?" Because we played a clip of Amy's like, find a safe song that she can listen to, because, and so I forget what we played. And she's like, "Oh my God, but he's old there." I'm like, well, Ella, that movie was like 20 years ago, so.
We all looked very different when Dixie was out there.
Yeah.
All because what's it called? I've totally talked about because of Winn-Dixie. Because of Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
We've all aged since because
I guess that's all they watched for a while. During COVID, they only had one DVD. The DVD was stuck in the player. That's what was stuck in the player. She said.
That's the one?
Yeah, that's the one.
He was so cute in that movie, though. I talked about this just the other day. Like, his character, he played it so well, but also I felt like it was kind of obviously not the same, but there was so many similarities in his character and who I think he really is. I haven't obviously spent time with him, so I don't know, but he just kind of nailed that. He nailed it, and I like that they let him include his guitar in that character and sing. I don't know, just it was a super, super sweet movie. And yeah, that's the only thing that my daughter will willingly watch that has Dave Matthews in it.
Well, it's funny today. I have one of my Dave Matthews shirts on. She goes, "That's right, Aunt Jessica. You have to wear that shirt today."
Today is the most important day. Yeah, because you're on a Dave Matthews podcast. Yeah,
I'm just like, but my favorite movie that he has done is Just Go With It. That is like. So I didn't even know he was in it. I remember going to theater with my best friend, and she just looked at me and she goes, "Did you know that?" I go, "No." And I'm just like, it was so funny.
So funny. I know when I see that movie on, I just want to watch the part. Like, the whole movie's good, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But I really do just want to watch the part with Dave Matthews in it, and then maybe start at the beginning and go through the whole thing. But I'm like, I just want to see the Dave Matthews part. He played again. What can this man not do?
No, he cannot do anything wrong.
He's good at everything. I mean, I haven't done a lot of things with him, but from what he does a lot of things right. Yeah, you should see your face right now. Listen, women talk about it all the time. I have had a woman on the show that was just like, for sure, she was going to marry him. I was like, babe, you
Yeah,
realize
he's
he's
married.
married, right? Like, you're
He's
not going to marry
married
him.
and with kids and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And
very
he's so
locked in.
quiet about it. So if I do remember hearing him when he was in Paris saying, I wish my lady was here tonight. She couldn't make it, you know, and I'm just like, oh, that breaks my heart.
They're so cute together. I mean, really, really cute. I wish them all the best. We're not home wreckers. We just recognize God's artwork on his face and body. Yes, Jesus. Thank you. Okay, so let's dig in. Here we are. We'll go from funny to serious. How about that?
Okay.
So, if you have not listened to this podcast, you might not know. So I like to remind everyone through the podcast that even though this podcast is totally about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band, and that's what it will forever be about, because there is such a story about the fans outside of the music and what the fans are doing, what the fans have done, what they will continue to do. There's just so many levels of amazing, amazing people out there doing stuff all in the name of music. And so after so many people had been on my show and shared their story, I said, this needs to be heard by more than just people that are going to listen to a tiny little podcast about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. These stories have to be on a bigger platform. But how in the world do you do that? I'm a nurse. I'm a podcaster because I created a podcast, but I have no training. And so I'm like, how do I keep doing this? But I just kept talking about it and said, I want to somehow talk about mental health and music and the correlation between the two. And I want to bring science into this to show people that they're not crazy. Like, music really is helping them. And so, believe it or not, pieces of this podcast that I have been doing for almost 2 years now, and a little bit in the future, we're making a documentary about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band, but it is simply about how music can be used as a tool in your mental health. So we have some really, really awesome people that are helping collaborate on this film, and I'm so excited to share all of that with you guys as I know more and we do more. Again, I'm a nurse. I have no clue what I'm doing when it comes to the documentary, but what I do know, nursing has really helped me in picking up, I think, just empathy, sympathy, just knowing that people need medicine, and sometimes medicine's not a pill, you know? So I just think people need to hear more about that. So that's what I'm doing. So let's talk about how you feel. Let's talk about feelings, or get you all in your feels now. So let's talk about the Dave Matthews Band in a different way.
When I worked at Deer Creek for several summers in a row. And it was great because my boss knew me, or knew that I loved Dave Matthews. She's like, you want to be working in the pit tonight, or the pit area? I'm like, well, yeah. Like, we were in the VIP section. So she's like, okay. So there's a lot of like local basketball stars and stuff. And I just stood down there.
Yeah.
And one night, I was just having a really crappy day. I was just stressed out galore. She goes, Jessica? I'm like, what? I go, I'll get it. She goes, I need to go take, her husband worked backstage. She goes, I need to take my husband lunch. Come with me. I'm like, why do I have to come with you? She goes, I want to cheer you up because you were just like depressed. I did not know she was taking me backstage to meet.
When did you figure this out? Like, you're walking back there and you're like, where are we going?
I'm walking back there and they gave me I already have a lanyard, but then they put another lanyard for like green room or something. I'm just like, okay. And you're not allowed to speak. When you work there, you cannot speak to them unless they speak to you. Like, wow. I saw Stefan ride his bike in the parking lot one time, but I couldn't say anything, you know. Right. But I go back there and she goes, Jessica, I'd like to introduce you to somebody. I'm like, and she tapped him on the shoulder and he turned around. He's like, you Jessica? And I'm like, hi. I'm just like, and he's so tall.
Is he tall? I mean, I've met him.
He was taller than me, and I'm 5'8".
Taller than you, okay.
Yeah, I'm 5'8". And so he goes, how are you doing today? He goes, I go, Good. I didn't know what to say. And some
Right.
people
You
are like,
weren't
oh,
even
he's just a
prepared for this
person.
moment.
Huh?
You weren't prepared for
I was
meeting
not
Dave
prepared for
Matthews.
this moment. But he's just like, so are you going to be watching down there in the pit tonight, I hear? And I'm like, oh my God, what does he know? He's just like, I'll be looking out for you. I'm like, okay. And he's just like, I hope your day gets better. Leslie says you're having a rough day. And I'm just like, not anymore, I'm not. I didn't say that, but I'm like, thank you, and this was before camera phones, which was like in the 2007 or something like that. But that's, what I have.
Your day got better, didn't it?
Yes, it did. So I always joked and, played the show and, he kind of nodded at me once when I was down there, but that was pretty cool. And then, so that just made my whole day, literally my day was like crap that day. And that made my day better. And I remember calling my mom. Soon as I used to call my mom, like when I got out of shows, I'd call her because I had to brag to somebody I knew, and I had to tell her. She's like, oh my God, I gotta wake up your dad. And she goes, Val, you won't believe who she met tonight. Oh, she was working a Dave show. Let me guess. I'm like, don't run it for her, Phil.
Oh, I know she wants to tell you.
But yeah, so that helped. But the music, like I said, as I got older, the music I started to hear the words, a lot deeper. A lot deeper. And I'm gonna get serious. I know I've been suicidal more than I like to talk about, but there's been a few times where I can put on the music, and I've done it here because I've had a rough year here, and my family knows that. But I can put on the music, and it can just change me. It just brings me my levels down. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a Gray Street tattoo.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
always
awesome.
wanted this tattoo, because I played it for my mom. Both my parents have passed over the past couple years, and I played it for my mom, and she goes, that's you. She goes, as much as I hate to say it, that's you. And then I also have one, it's a bee, and it says, life is short but sweet for certain. I got that after my mom passed. My mom's family heirloom or emblem was bee, so I put that in there, and I have a half fire dancer because the way the woman did it, I'm like, oh, I like that better. So it's like the fire dancer just kind of putting it down, but it's still, I want more. But there's so many songs. We went to the first show after my mom passed, me and my best friend Mary, and my parents love Steady as They Go. They love that song. My dad, I played them music, you guys might like this song. And my mom and dad, I played it for them years ago, and they looked at each other and just smiled. So we played it at my mom's funeral. And then what was the part of the encore that night? Mary goes, oh God, I gotta hold on to her. She's holding on to me because I thought I was going to pass out. I was kind of since, like I said, my dad got me my first ticket, and I knew they'd be happy with me going to Dave's shows. So I always, it seems but when they played that after that, that was 2021. And that's when it was rescheduled 3 times. Because it was the summer after COVID. But we played that, or they played that, and I was just like, oh my God. It's like they knew I was going to be okay. But so many, their music. When I worked at my old Costco, I'm going to say I don't care where I work. And my coworkers knew this. I'd go on break and we'd be crazy busy, and I would kind of go out there and play Dave Matthews and meditate, and it calmed my anxiety down.
Yes.
It calms my anxiety down. There's that whole little clip where, he changes my life. And my friend Jamie, who I got hooked on, um, she makes a comment of that all the time. You know, play some Dave Matthews, calm down. You know, when I call her when I'm having a stressful event, she goes, play some Dave Matthews. And it's his, there's some songs you just want to dance.
Yeah.
You just want to dance or you just want to cry.
And we go through phases where the songs change, you know, where one song may have been really hard to listen to later on. I don't know if you've experienced this, but later on you feel so differently about the song. And I've heard other people say that it just wasn't their time for that song yet, but when it was,
Mm-hmm.
how powerful it was. You know, I had heard Gray Street. Of course, it's one of the
Yeah.
staples of the Dave Matthews Band. Everyone familiar with it.
Yes.
But until I divorced my husband of 18 years, it was a terrible marriage, went through that, got through that. When I heard Gray Street after that, after all that shit I had been through and the struggle, but I did it and I got out and I changed my life myself. That song took on a completely different meaning. And I still hold on to that. That's, you know, history, but still to this day, when I hear that song, I think about how powerful that song is, because we've all had those moments where we felt like we were breaking the chains that held us in a place that we didn't even want to be in, but we couldn't get out or didn't know how or whatever. And you know, that song will never be old to me. I
I
love that
always
you love
say
it.
I want 41 played at my funeral. They're like, what does it even mean? I go, I don't know, but it's just, I want that song at my funeral. Because my friend Mary, she's my Dave buddy, back in Indiana. And she goes, what is that song? She goes, I've read so many different meanings. I'm like, I know, but I go, don't play Gray Street. I go, that's too, you know, and she goes, special. And I'm like, yeah. But, yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just his music, you know, it's just like, it was so, like I said, the weekend before I moved up here, I went to two Dave shows, and it was like the perfect thing because I was so stressed out and scared, you know, uprooting my life from Indiana, the home I've only known, you know, two different towns I've lived in, and then moving to a new state. At least I was moving in with family, but that was the perfect way to spend those last 2 days, you
Yeah, it
know.
was.
And everybody says that, and I'm going home, you know, everybody's like, are you coming back for Dave? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, of course I am. I'm like, it's like a tradition.
Yeah.
It's a
Deer Creek is
tradition.
one of those things, whether you live
It,
close or far, people want to go to Deer Creek.
you know, I would love, you know, there's other places I'd like to go. I want to go to Blossom, and I want to go to Alpine. I've never been to Alpine. We went to okay, so funny. My sister, who is my biological sister, I was adopted. I found her 6 years ago. And you know, we are super close. We are, you know, she lives
That's
back in Indiana.
awesome.
And everyone understood me why I had to move up here. But she always like, I know who Dave Matthews is. I'm like, you better know who Dave Matthews is. You're only a few years younger than me, you know. And she's like, I want to see how you are at a Dave Matthews show. Because everybody says you're like a totally different person. I got to see you at a Dave Matthews show. Because I am like a totally different. I like go into like my own little.
We let it go. There's no
Yeah,
responsibility for the
so
next 3 hours.
I took her to Milwaukee one year when they weren't doing Alpine. This was what, 3 years ago? And her husband's just like, okay, we're you know, waiting outside the car. He's like, she goes, I only know like the basic songs. And of course I'm like, oh, those are lame. I don't want to hear Satellite, you know. I'm like, I don't want to hear Satellite and Crash Into Me. I'm just, no. Those are my
Not on
two.
your,
No.
not your list.
Huh?
So they're not on your list.
Not on my list. And of course, she goes, but those are the ones I know. And
I get that.
I was hoping they placed. I was hoping they played Sister, but he played it like the night before I found out. I'm like, nope, he ain't gonna play it. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, he don't play the same stuff. And I was hoping they do that because I've gotten her like a little drawing that has the lyrics of Sister on it, and I have it too. But yeah. But my sister, she enjoyed herself. She did. She very much enjoyed herself.
Right.
She always says, I had to drive her back to the hotel, but...
Thanks for being responsible.
Yeah. But
I'm so glad
she had fun. So I introduced somebody else, and I always tell her, I'm like, you need to come with us again, and she just never has the time, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, my best friend Mary, that is like as soon as the tickets, she saw them go up, she goes, okay, are you coming back for Deer Creek? I'm like, well, yeah, that's why I've been waiting. I go, let me make sure I can get the time off first before we buy. That's always my thing. But we sit in the lawn. Right. We sit in the lawn. I can't sit in seats for Dave. It's not the same. No. I've done it once in my life, and it's just not the same. Right. I mean, we may be in our 40s, but yeah, it's just.
I'm willing to go out at a Dave Matthews Band concert if that's where I die. Hey, I died happy. I'm not sitting down.
I'm like, I could die
stand
now.
up.
I'm like, I always, because everybody's just like, you have an anxiety of crowds. I'm like, not at a Dave show. There's a couple other bands.
It's not odd. It's fascinating.
Huh?
That's fascinating to me that in most normal scenarios, crowds give you anxiety, but in a crowd of 10,000 people that are all singing Dave, you feel at home.
I feel at home.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, if I can just find somebody to go with me to Michigan up here in Pine Knob, I'd be a happy person. So
if anybody's listening to this and goes to Pine Knob every year, or if you live in Michigan, she needs a hookup. So you're new to Michigan. Your new home venue is Pine Knob, right? Is that right? Pine Knob? If you're listening to this and Pine Knob's your home venue, reach out to Jessica and say, hey, come be part of our pack. Just,
I would love that. I've gone to concerts by myself, but I can't. I've never.
She said you should screen them all, but.
Yeah. I've been to concerts by myself many times. I can do that. But for a Dave show, I can't do that. I just can't sit there and be like, I can go, to other concerts by myself. Not a big deal. Because they're not normally a Dave. They're not like, because I listen to a lot of different music, but yeah.
I do want to be with people I know at a Dave concert. But I feel like I can always find somebody I know. And I don't mean like have a long relationship with, but like I know, I'm familiar. I've seen you before. I've talked to you or whatever.
Yeah, I'm meeting up with two of my friends from that live out east. They're coming into Deer Creek, and then my best friend Mary that lives back in Indiana. So there'll be 4 of us, and that's how it is.
Awesome. So are y'all campers at Deer Creek? What do you like to do?
I don't do camping. No.
Oh, that's right. You said that. I don't either. That's right. So, that's the beautiful thing about Deer Creek versus Gorge. Not that you could even compare those two, but there is a lot of camping at Deer Creek. And I know so many people that love, 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 love. Is it the Sleepy Bear that's across?
Sleepy Bear, yeah.
Love and they love it when Dave comes to town because that means great people are coming in and like they love the crowd of the fans.
Yeah, working out there, I heard some stories about the people that concerts that weren't Dave when they had the campgrounds, like these people, like like a Korn concert, they had camping. And I'm like, are you for real? I got smacked in the leg with a sod of grass working a Korn concert. And I had shorts on. They were digging up the grass. They were
what?
Just because that was my first year. I go, next year I ain't working a Korn concert.
Hey, I'm gonna need to be off that day.
Yeah, because you got to choose like which ones you could work, but Dave Matthews and Jimmy Buffett were always ones you had to work, which was fine by me. I did it for 5 or 6 years in a row.
Now you just got paid to go to a show. That's the ultimate.
That's why I did it.
Goals.
That's why I literally started working out there. And I worked out there 5 or 6 years. I took a summer off when I had a surgery, and that's the only summer I did not see Dave at Deer Creek because I had my surgery that freaking day. But I saw him that year in Bloomington because it was 2008 when he was going around for the Obama thing, and it was free, and we had this. Me and my friend had to volunteer at Obama's headquarters for like an hour. But yeah, that was an experience. Like a bunch of Dave friends, they just literally opened the door and you just went running for a seat.
Wow.
My friend Nyla go, we're not doing that. And I was like 30 years old. I'm like, we're not doing that. I go, can we just, like take our times and find a seat? We already, we're like, yeah. Because I'm like, I am not running up those stairs and look at me like an old fart already at 30, but yeah.
Well, I'm not running at all. I always tell people if you see me running, you should turn around and start running yourself because I promise you something is chasing me. Like, I'm not going to just be seen running. There's an emergency. If I
like to walk.
I like to walk. And that's good for you.
You ain't going to see me run.
No.
My dad was a cross-country coach, and they're like, do you run? I'll go, I was adopted, so it's not in my blood.
That's right. That's right.
I never like to run. I've done 5Ks. I will walk a 5K. But yeah. But I see people do these 5Ks. They're like Dave Matthews thing. I'm like, where are they finding these apps? I'm like...
they do them a lot, but it's probably through, so there's a group, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but if you are, cool, DMB Fit Crew, that's the name of the group. They are everywhere. They actually just traveled to South Africa to do a run. Jeff's wife went with them to do this bike, like I think it was a triathlon or something like that. But they set up all the running events or marathon events before. So if you're interested in running, if you like just health in general, because it doesn't have to be just runners. It's just about healthy, your body, soul, spirit. So definitely check out that group if you're interested.
So many Dave Matthews Facebook pages. It's like addicting.
There are too many.
It's just many. Like I need to I'm like, sweet, send me that. Like, I'm on like the Dave Matthews tattoo where I get ideas. And I'm like, oh, if only I had money for that right now. Like, because that's the most like tattoos are like. I want like more Dave Matthews tattoos, but I want like decent ones.
Right. Right.
Like the Gray Street, I actually got that picture off one of the sites.
Awesome. Yeah, that size tattoo is expensive, so I agree with you. It's not something that, but those groups are really cool. Just even if I'm not looking to get a tattoo currently, I love to see others and how like they put a twist on, that design or whatever. There's been really amazing tattoos and anything you could think of. It's wild, but there's a lot of groups out there. So if you're not invested in, or if you're not on social media, or if you are on social media, check out some of the groups. It really helps you connect to the community a little bit more. If you're listening to this and you're like, I don't even know what they're talking about. How can they just hang out with all these strangers and get to meet people? And well, it's Facebook, guys. That's what it is. It's groups.
Facebook, and that's how it's helped me a lot. That's another thing that's helped me a lot since moving here is Facebook. And then, yeah. And
it's
then
been
stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah.
It's been awesome. It's been really awesome. I mean, that's how I've met most of the people I've connected with is obviously Facebook and super thankful for those groups, but they can be a lot. If you like or become a member of all of them, then your whole feed is just Dave Matthews Band stuff, which is not necessarily bad. But like the other day, someone asked me, there was something that had happened in the world. I don't know what, like not like major, but like something. And they were like, did you see the news? And I was like, they said, I saw it on Facebook. I was like, dude, I do not go to Facebook for news because Facebook, the only thing you see on my Facebook is Dave Matthews Band stuff. That's not where I go for news. So it's taken over social media, but that's okay. Well, what does 2025 look like for you? So obviously, we talked about you're going to, why do I keep forgetting that? Uh, Pine Knob. That's
Pine
Pine
Knob.
Knob. You're going to Pine Knob and you're going to Deer Creek.
Yes. Hopefully
Deer
Pine
Creek.
Knob if I can
Deer
find somebody
Creek.
to go
So
with.
yeah,
Because I'm not going by myself.
you will. Yeah,
Yeah.
you will. I mean, you're just going no matter what.
Yeah.
Either with somebody or by yourself.
It's
You're
like,
going.
that's my vacation. I'm calling it my Davecation.
Vacation, yes.
Davecation. Because it's like
That's
Pine
what it
Knob's
is.
on
I
a
mean, he
Wednesday,
is.
and then 2 days later is Deer Creek. And so, yeah.
So it's the weekend after Pine Knob?
Pine Knob is the Wednesday before Deer Creek. So 2
Okay,
days
cool.
later
Yeah, so that
is
gives you
Deer
enough
Creek.
time to drive down.
Yeah. I'm mad because they'll be at
Awesome.
Cincinnati. We've
Awesome.
gone to Cincinnati before, and yeah, I don't have time to do that. It's in a different time. I just don't have time. But yeah. Can she take a leave of absence?
Yeah.
She's got concerts to go to.
But she also needs full pay while she's on leave of
Exactly.
absence.
I need that. Yes. Full pay. Paid time off. Yeah, I got other shows I need to go to in my lifetime.
We don't want to talk about when it's over, right? But we got to go to as many shows as we can because it could be any day. You just never know. But 34 years in, that's a lot. And you never know. And I think they sing about that. You never know. Tomorrow we may die. It is. I mean, it will happen, and so we don't know the future. So if you're waiting around and you've never seen the Dave Matthews Band ever, make one of their shows in the next couple of years. I'd say make it a plan in the next 3 to 5 years to definitely at least see them once because they're a band that's worth seeing once.
I have a friend in California. He's like, he's still playing. Is he out with his walker yet? I go, he is not Mick Jagger. Okay?
Well, he's officially a grandpa now, so we're getting
yeah,
that way.
That's scary. That's scary right there. That's scary.
It's wild. It's wild. But I mean, they're the right age for it. We're the right age for it. What are you talking about? Like, we could be grandparents.
I don't have kids, so yeah, I didn't have kids.
But we are old enough. Like we are old enough. But get in before it's over because tomorrow we may die, right? So let's do, hey, do you want to do just a little bit of Dave Matthews Band trivia? Okay, let's see. So if you also don't know, this podcast was born out of a lot of circumstances. But one of those circumstances was as far as just having people that I knew would listen to this podcast. I had already established a trivia group during COVID where we got together. We did Zoom because we all had to work and see people. So Zoom came out. So we started Dave Matthews Band Trivia. And so, we would get together, however often and go through these questions. So they've been so fun to collect. And I am a nerd that totally has a binder, a DMB trivia binder. We'll start really slow. Now, here's the thing about trivia. Even if you don't know the answer, it's a learning opportunity, right?
Okay.
Like we're going to learn something about the Dave Matthews Band that maybe we didn't know. So help me by making this fun for anybody that's listening or watching. So I'm going to read the question. And if you know the answer right away, just hold on to it for a few seconds. I like to read it twice just in case a kid screamed in the car and mom and dad didn't hear the whole thing or whatever. Like we'll give them a few seconds and that way we can reveal the answer together. So let's see. What song contains the lyrics, "I got a bobblehead Jesus"? I'm going to read it one more time. What song contains the lyrics, "I've got a bobblehead Jesus"? All right, Jessica, do you know the answer?
I'm having a brain fart on this. I can sing it in my head.
You need me to sing more of it because you know this one. You know this one. Woo! You start out with the woos. Da 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 da. Woo! Da da. And let's see. Try not. If I say the words, then it gives it away. Well, Bobblehead Jesus comes from a song called Joyride. And I wanted to sing that so bad. Joyride. But if I said that, I
Why?
would the name of the song.
Oh.
I don't know. It's because the pressure of the show.
It's the pressure.
You knew it. See, you knew it. You get the point.
I'm going to be singing
It is. It's the pressure of the show. No big deal. Because I can promise you, if I were to give you this book and you were to read it to me, I would know none of this. The answers are right in front of me. So, of course, I'm like, duh, it is. That's the. But if you were to, I can't remember this stuff. So the pressure really does get to you. Okay. We can go a little bit on the creepy side if you want. What is Dave's middle name?
James? No.
So one more time. This is my creep. I have creepier questions than this. Like it's there's there's been some fun trivia that we have learned in the past. But what is Dave's middle name? If you're going to call him by his full name, how would you say it?
Is it James? No.
It's John.
I was close.
David John Matthews. Yeah, you were. You had the J. You knew. Yeah. David John Matthews. David. And from what I've heard, like family calls him David. Dave is the name of the band and that's who he is, obviously. But like his family calls him David. So, yes. Side note, you ever see him on the street, yell David, not Dave.
Because that's what I'm going to do.
He knows it's a fan if you say Dave. Yell David John Matthews and see what kind of response you get. We're like, who's that creepy ass girl that knew my whole name?
Oh, we know.
Okay. This is a fun question for you because we talked about this earlier. So maybe that will help if it doesn't come to you right away. What guest artist sang on the track Spoon that is on the album Before These Crowded Streets? There was a lady that did help on that song Spoon. Do you know who that lady was? I'll say it one more time. So we're talking about the name of the song, Spoon, and it's on the album Before These Crowded Streets. There was a lady that helped Dave sing that song. Do we know who that lady is?
Alanis Morissette.
Jessica, do you know?
Alanis Morissette.
It is. It is the one that she's still out there killing it, still on tour. I mean, she looks the same too. The long hair, just tiny. I mean, she sings just the same too. She's everything. Are you ready for the last question of the Space Between podcast? Dave Matthews Band trivia.
Okay.
So hard to say this without singing. So let's see if I can do it. See if I put it in my sexy voice. I can't because then I'll laugh. Sitting, smoking, feeling high. In this moment, it feels so right. What is the name of that song? I'm going to read it one more time. Seems so creepy saying it slow.
I could sing it.
Sitting, smoking. I can't sing this part because feeling high, the way he like does his voice. Feeling high. I can't do that. I am not a singer. In this moment, it feels so right. What is the name of that song, Jessica?
Crush. Is it Crush?
You got it. You got it. God,
I was like, wait, you're looking at me. I'm like, wait a minute.
What a sexy song. Oh, yeah, no, you're 100% right. But because it is so weird to like hear the words when they're not being sang or without music. One thing I always, when I talk about Crush, do it.
That song is when he plays that with me and my friend Mary. That is a song we were just like, that's a song she fell in love with back in the day. That was her song. So we hear that, and I have a connection to that song. And we hear that, we're like, yes. We're like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with the music video back in the day that they made for Crush?
Mm-hmm. Where they're sitting in the bar and the band's playing.
Black and white. Sitting in the bar, smoking. Okay, here's ultimate like weird nerd, weird fan request. I would love to see them do that over again, but at their current ages. Jesus,
Oh,
take the wheel. That would be like mommy porn. Okay, for real, mom porn. Put
yes.
Dave Matthews Band in the Crush setting again and having. Oh, that's all I
Oh, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Now I want to watch that
need.
movie.
David, John Matthews. Just a request. Just a humble request. Make it for sale. I will buy it. It's a way to make more money because we know the Dave Matthews Band isn't making any money, right?
Oh, yeah. They ain't making any money.
Yeah. So, yeah, 30 years of music. What? Well, thanks for doing some trivia with me. I'm excited about 2025. I think it's going to be another solid year. This year obviously looks a little different than years past, but I think that keeps us on our toes as fans, as you never truly know what you're going to get with the Dave Matthews Band. It's proven true every time we go to a show. Every time a new tour comes out, you never know what you're going to get. And so I am on the chase just as close as I can get behind them. And I know that you are too. And we're going to continue to follow them until we literally or physically can't. Is
right.
that true?
Even then, I'll be like, push me in my wheelchair.
Dave and I, again, are not personal friends, but I'd love for that to change. Wouldn't you, Jessica?
Yes, I would love to be buddy-buddy with him and just
call
get occasional text
Dave
message,
and be like, yo, I'm flying. Let's have dinner. Drinks on me, Dave. I'll pay for it. Wishful thinking, right? But 2025 is going to be great. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm really excited to see everyone back out again. And I'm excited for the warmer weather. Winter's not one of my favorite times of the year. And so I'm ready to get out of the house and get some of that vitamin D. And when I say vitamin D, I'm not talking about sunlight. I am talking about Dave, ready to get some more Dave in my blood. Dave Matthews Band, 34 years. It's amazing. And so, guys, again, if this is your very first time to listen to this podcast, every episode is completely different because every story is completely different. So look through. I think we're getting close to 200 shows, and so that means that you're going to be able to find a story that maybe you will laugh about. Maybe it will. There have been ones that have choked me up, and I never know what my guests are going to say. And so there's been some really hard things that we've gone through together. But all of this, again, is just proving what the music of the Dave Matthews Band has been able to do. It's not just been touring. It's not just been playing music for crowds. It's been so much more. The picture that I'm trying to paint is that the impact that they've made on the world in their over 30 years of music has really impacted thousands and thousands of countless people all over the world. And so thank you, Jessica, for being willing to come on the show and share your story. It's impossible for me to do this without you. And so I appreciate that. So be sure to stay focused on all of the socials. There's a lot of things coming up. Of course, tour is coming. Jazz Fest is just around the corner. And so the Space Between podcast will be in New Orleans to officially kind of bring in 2025. This is the first time that the full band will be playing together in 2025. So I'm excited to be in New Orleans. If you're going to be there, definitely send us a message. We're going to be meeting up with a lot of Dave Matthews Band fans while we're in New Orleans. And stay tuned to find out about the documentary. Your story might be included in this documentary. So if you're interested in sharing your journey, definitely be on my podcast, share your story, and have like this video to keep when you're 80. I was telling Jessica, like when you're 80 and you watch this, it's going to be awesome to have all of these memories float back in from the times that these are the good old days. We are living in the good old days right now. So let's document it, and that way we'll have it for future generations. And so again, Jessica, thank you for being on the show, guys. Until next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.